may ask you, Prof,
yes,
sorry.
Yes.
Why was he, according to you, not able to fulfill that promise and expectation of the hustler that would then convince the same hustler to come together in numbers to bring him back? Because the numbers is directly linked to this ID thing that we're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Isn't it? What is it that would shift the focus from, okay, there was supposed to be something in our pocket, to then come say, okay, let's coalesce in the numbers to do something significant?
The elections are essentially about numbers.
Yep.
And they are also about strategies. And you know when a certain strategy can't work, and when another can work. For example, in 2022, going for the hearts and minds of Bantu-speaking people with the hustler narrative, because they are by and large the majority and the more impoverished, right? So it was easy to sell that narrative. And also, they have perhaps the largest number of Christian denominations. So you can play around with multiple identities from regions to whatever, and avoid the ethnic identity for that matter. So we find that that time, 2022, it was possible to do that, and it won. Narrowly though, but it basically put President William Ruto in power. Now, the economic reality after the election and the shifts that have taken, we cannot repeat them here because we have had this debate since 2023, the Sufuria uprising, then we have the Gen Z uprising and all this. It's one after the other. From the population side. So it's possible, and I can sympathize with the president that the game is over about winning hearts and minds. That game is over. So you have to have another game. And the game that is coming in, I'm saying, is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Now, this is the game. The playbook is a Moi playbook. It's Daniel Arap Moi's playbook. And Daniel Arap Moi's reaction to the coming of multi-party politics was basically to shift the axis of competition from ethnic groups to what you can call ethnic conglomerates. You remember the Kamatusa? The Kamatusa? You remember? You remember Raila crossing over and saying we are G speakers or whatever speakers. So that is the game Mzee Moi played, but within the population. It was a fair game for Mzee to play. It was a fair game. He had played it in 1950s when he went to Legico and he was a minority. Therefore, he had to cobble up a community called the Karenjin. So the Karenjin is born in 1950s as part of that, conglomeration or bringing together communities in order to kind of have some demographic muscle. He does it in 1990s in reaction to multi-party and bring in the Karenjin, the Maasai, the Samburu, the Turkana into the equation and comes up with a new ethnic conglomerate called Kamatusa. This is the game President William Ruto is trying to play. He started off by basically trying to unite the Nilotic-speaking people quietly. Nobody is picking this except those of us who are on the war rooms of political strategies. So the Kamatusa now is expanded with the coming of the Ruo, and that was the whole idea about the broad-based government. There was nothing else, and that's why Gachagua found himself in trouble because he didn't belong. He's not part of the Nilotic speaking. So he had basically to be ejected so that he can bring in the broad-based government as a government of the Nilots, Nilotic speaking people, right? Then the Nilotic speaking people in their numbers will not deliver William Ruto to power. Therefore, you need a larger coalition. Then you bring in the Cushitic speaking people. And the Cushitic speaking people are the Somalis, and on this other side they are the Oromo. Our side of the Oromo are called the Borana. On the side of Ethiopia they are the Boranas, but they are also the other Raja clan, the Barento. So the idea is now to use that population to bring in. But when you look at it, it is also not enough. The Boranas are about 300,000, right? Or thereabout. The Somalis in their totality are 3.4. They're in the same league as the Kisis, the same league as the Merus and the Somalis. I mean, the Merus, the Masais, and the Mijikenda. They are within that league of the minorities as they were. So they can't help you fill the bag. So this is where you have had this bravado kind of speeches that we are overproducing, we have 4 wives, we have this. You are kind of in a just a mood of justifying the growth of numbers. This is basically what you are preparing Kenyans for, that we are coming. Of course, we know human beings, the gestation period of a human species is 9 months.
9 months.
And the survival rate is very low for human beings. That's why we have this sophisticated medical intervention to ensure that you don't die before 5 years. Because human beings largely, pass on by 5 years because we have so many things, biological, and we have the weakest, things. So, in other words, you cannot justify population growth by birth. It's a stupid argument, but you make it. But the political import of it is that you want to say that in the next election, we will have extraordinary numbers that you have to understand is because we give birth. To me, that is what you're being prepared for. So this ID card business is all about increasing the numbers of our Somali population in Kenya because it is not enough. So what is the strategy? You want to get a chunk of the 19.5 million Somalis, because that's the total population of Somalia.
Right.
If you bring every Somali who has been born, anybody who says I'm a son or a daughter of Somali, the founder of the Somali community, then you are totaling to 19 people inside Somalia, and you are talking about 2 million in the diaspora, because the others are citizens of either Ethiopia, Djibouti, or Kenya. So the Abdallahs are ours. They are more patriotic, perhaps, than many of us. The Abduak are there in all, the Duare people, they are there. So these are our people. So they can vote, and they need their rights to be protected. The problem is when you now reach out to the kith and kin across the borders and give them identity cards in order to beef your numbers in Kenya. In other words, you have begun to have a concept of political mercenaries. The concept of mercenaries has been limited to military.
Yeah.
Now we are beginning to get in, political mercenaries who come to fight. Because politics